set 'em on fire. Welcome to my empire.
How we doing?
We're cold, dude. It's frozen here.
So PA is like back and forth. We get a little cold, but then it gets a little warmer. So I don't know what
Bipolar, dude.
I don't know what to think.
Same here. Also I was in San Diego for this last week and that was nice.
Okay,
and
cool.
then got back here, walked out of the airplane, cold as shit. Over there it was like 70 degrees, 60 degrees. Here it's like 15 degrees. So I'm like,
Oh my
thick, bro.
gosh. Well, at least you got to hit the warm weather for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Can't complain.
Yeah, we were both out there in Cali for a couple days. I was only there for a couple days, but it was really nice.
What were you guys up to?
We went to LA. Some of the artists that we work with, Thai Guys and Death Code, they played at
Cool.
Exchange LA, so we wanted to go and
Okay.
support.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you
that's
been to that
fun.
venue yet?
I have not. I've only been I haven't really been to any big shows or like the main venues in LA. Like I've been there a
Mhm.
few times, but I haven't been back since 2018 or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
I actually went to whatever what was this place? I guess it was like is it Gas Lamp Killer? The artist. He used to run some night in LA at some like kind of hole in the wall kind of, I don't know. It was like really cool venue, but I went there with I don't know if you're familiar with Holly, Holly.
I don't think so.
He's been on like Dead Beats and a few other labels like that, but he like took me there. He's like based out of, well, he's from Portugal, but he's brothers with DJ Ride. If you ever
Okay.
heard of DJ Ride, but
Lots of new names here.
Yeah,
not
right. I'm
too
like
much,
taking
not-
notes.
definitely check their music out. They're both insane artists. But yeah, so I don't have too much experience in the LA scene.
Yeah, it was my first time there too. I actually really liked it. Like for some reason, the city was empty though. I think it was because of Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like still the major cities, like people are still going to be there to party and go to shows and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But Exchange seems really dope. I've definitely seen the videos. It's like get the hype,
Mhm.
and maybe
Yeah.
someday I'll be there.
I know. I really want to go to Academy. That's the one with the LEDs on the ceiling. Have
On
you
the
seen that one?
yeah, I've
Mhm.
seen that.
That looks sick.
I'm missing out.
Yeah.
I know.
That's like where everyone is. Isn't Ghost in Real Life out there as well?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
out there. I know, like, so Richie Black Sheep's out
Mhm,
there.
mhm.
And I know him
Jeannie?
and like Wee Rose. Jeannie's out there now.
Sippy, Riot, they're all out
dude,
Oh
there.
yeah.
Everyone. Wee Rose, Bad Habit. My friend Josie just
Hazo.
moved out there. Everyone.
What the hell?
Why aren't we
Yeah.
there?
I know. It's
I'd
funny because
rather stay in Denver, if I'm being honest.
I've always so I was actually born like an hour north of LA. I lived there for like
Okay.
3 months and then moved. I moved to San Antonio and then moved to Pittsburgh, and that's where I grew up before going to Philly. So I've always had like, oh, I'll move out to LA someday, and or maybe Denver. And I don't know, as I've gotten older, like I'm about to be 30.
aren't we all?
Ooh, dirty 30.
It's like right. It's kind of not the furthest thing from my mind, but it's definitely, I don't necessarily have these ambitions of moving across the country anymore.
I mean, it's intimidating to just move in general. Like my lease is up in January, at the end of January, and I still haven't decided what the hell I want to do. So I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. You know, it's a lot.
It's tough. And some of these markets can be super lucrative moving out there as an artist or like what you guys are doing. But at the same time, it's like you can also do it anywhere, but it is like that's kind of my experience in Philly. there's so many artists there. There's like lots of shows, there's lots of opportunities, and it's just kind of helps with networking, making friends, making music with other people. So it's like there's pros and cons, but Philly was definitely like huge for me, I would say, in starting my career, because I went to go to school there in 2012. So I went to Temple.
Oh, okay.
And so that's
Okay.
why I came from Pittsburgh. And so I'm actually back in Pittsburgh now.
Oh shit. Since when?
April. So it was right before I came out and played Denver with Afterthought.
yeah.
And when we all met up. And thank you guys for coming to the show. I appreciate
course.
that.
Of course.
I am in my starving artist phase where I said, Mom, Dad, can you give me a year or so? And I just want to like just do music and try and make it happen. So it's been really nice, honestly. I have like all my family back here, so it's been really nice getting to be with them a lot. Because I was totally like, I was in Philly for 10 years and I was totally like, I'd come here like 2 or 3 times a year and be here for like 2 or 3 days and see everyone for just like a second, you know? So I definitely felt a little disconnected, and it's been really nice to reconnect with everyone. And I have a couple of nieces and they are the best. So it's been really nice.
No shame in that, honestly. Like, you got to be on your feet first, especially in music too. I feel like people underestimate like how much rent costs and like the cost of living when you move to LA too. Like even Denver, cost of living,
Yeah.
dude, if you're not making like $4,000 a month, like get out. You can't even live here, you know?
It's
crazy.
really tough. And even Philly, I would say still affordable in certain areas, but I was always paying in between 800 and 1,000 just for rent, and I always had at least one to multiple roommates. And basically I went to school for marketing and advertising, and so I've been working different jobs, whether it was a marketing agency or freelancing for different companies and stuff like that, up until this past January. And that was kind of, I basically just lost a client, not really anything on like what I did, but it's just, I was working for these CBD companies, and it's not the easiest industry to be in, but it's also can be pretty lucrative. But
Yeah.
I had separated from them, and that was what kind of posed me moving home. And I was just like, things are starting to happen. I've put so much time into this. This is what I want. It's what I've always wanted. And I know I still have so much longer to go, but that's why I was like, okay, I feel comfortable in a place right now to ask to, come home for a little bit. I've been touring a decent amount, traveling, so I'm not really in my parents' hair or anything like that. So I didn't feel like I was going to come home and just be like doing nothing.
Right.
Or like it kind of appearing that way. I don't know, because I always feel like you always got to be working.
You
But
do. Which
very
is kind of
blessed
sad.
for the opportunity. Dude,
Like
Yeah.
we all need to take more breaks, especially myself. Like I was just
it's
talking to Yessie about
hard.
it. It's like we're so overworked, but you kind of like, I'm not gonna say you have to be successful, but like you get out what you put in.
This is just what like me and my manager were talking about like last week. He was just like, everyone who just works their butts off and just works as hard as they can, like they're gonna get it. And it's unfortunate, I think, in society right now, where I think a lot of people, this is just how I feel. It's like if I'm not doing something or not writing a song or making some sort of progress in my career, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I like failing? Am I not doing something? Like I don't feel good, or anything along those lines, where I think everyone's really hard on themselves. And you need to be, especially like what you guys are doing, what I'm doing. We're all running our own businesses. So it's like you've seen the memes probably where they're like, I want to go work for myself. And then now I'm working 24 hours a day.
Literally.
Yeah. Or like, have you seen like those funny videos where like someone walks into the room and they're like, running a business be like, and then the person hops into bed and then their alarm goes off within like 2 seconds. Like, oh, gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Only slept for like 2 seconds.
It's what it is. It's what it is. And I know you guys are working separate jobs on top of everything you're doing with Dubstep FBI. So you guys get it more than most. And that's why I think I'm feeling it a little more hard now that I'm home and I'm just doing music, where I will give myself the breaks, but I try to be like, come on, this is like a specific amount of time that you don't have to worry about, most bills like rent and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
there's a balance, but we all do need a break. And I think, we don't need to be as hard on ourselves all the
Yeah.
time.
Honestly, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've been hearing more and more often that modern science is telling us that rest is obviously the most important piece, like finding time to exercise or meditate, finding time for yourself, or just take a vacation, whether that means just taking time off work, going for walks, like
Yep.
doing a weekend getaway. So like lately I've been forcing myself to take my Sundays off. Like literally, I'll even tell Chrissy, like, hey, I'm not working today. Like, we'll get to this tomorrow, but like Sundays are my rest days. Like, I'm not gonna do anything.
Oh, and
we're just gonna relax. We're just gonna, as they say, we'll
Do
pin it for
nothing.
tomorrow.
right. And it's like, that's so good. And I think it's just hard to do. It's hard to shut off. There's so many demand, especially in our industry. Things are happening at all hours of the day. But I'm happy to hear that you've been able to carve that time out. I think exercise, like you said, is also huge. That's something I try to do at least 4 or 5 times a week. I've been super on my run game for about a year and a half now.
Nice.
Trying to add a little more like workout stuff into it, and yoga and meditation. I used to be on yoga like before the pandemic. I was doing hot yoga in Philly about like 2-3 times a week, and that was awesome. But then my like studio shut down for COVID and they didn't reopen, and then I just kind of had a hard time getting back into it. And I feel like for me in the yoga, it's like I really enjoy the studio and going and being a part of a community there. Which that was cool for me because it was the first time I was like a part of a community that was like not dubstep or partying or college or friends, and it was just really refreshing. So I definitely recommend the exercising to anyone.
That's the other thing too that Chrissy and I were talking about recently, like over these last few weeks, that like we should be doing things outside of dubstep. Like go
Totally.
get involved in communities that don't involve dubstep, or like make friends that are not in the dubstep scene, like have different things to talk about instead of just rail breaking, headbanging music.
It's like dubstep is my personality at this point. Which
Right?
like, I mean, we have businesses in it, but like, dude, I need to like step out.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important. And I think along with what we were saying before of just like we own our own businesses, you have to go. That can be part of like a burnout, is like, one, just working so hard, but two, like not being like outside of that community or taking that Sunday for yourself, or just having whatever hobbies or outlet that is not headbanging.
Yeah, it's true. Burnout is a good word for it. And that's why I'm really, really looking forward to the holidays, actually. Like, it's just a really good excuse to not do anything and to just refresh and recharge and like eat really well and be with your family. Like, I'm just really looking forward to Christmas because I'm going to take that whole week off, hopefully.
You deserve it. Both of you do.
We all do.
You too, dude.
And everyone that's listening too. Everyone deserves it. Everyone needs to take that time off.
Whatever is on your to-do list, it can wait.
Yeah.
And also too, like we're so like there's moments where like things can get very, very stressful, and like we can get mad about something, and it's like, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, then do not stress over it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like I heard someone say something a little more like short term, where it was just even like, if something's going on or you have an issue, whether it's a person or a thing going on, it's just like, take a day, take a few hours. We all feel things and all take different things to heart or take them different ways. So it's like, especially in business, like for me, this is my life. Like, it's my business, but it's like, so it's just ingrained in me. So I'm a very like, can be an emotional person, and I take things personally. So it's, you have to kind of separate that stuff, or like, okay, cool, I'm not going to answer this, or I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I'm going to go on a run or do, anything like that. Cause I feel like sometimes you can be very quick to react in certain situations to whatever it is. And, we all need a little time to digest things.
Totally. Yeah, I love that. That's a good entry point into all the rest of the music stuff that we have.
Perfect.
But speaking of music, so last we saw you was at Lost Land. So what exactly have you been up to? Like, what's been going on with your project ever since then?
So first of all, Lost Land is just amazing. I was so thankful to come back for my second year. Excision, Subsidia, the whole team, like endless thanks to them. It's been so crazy. I mean, from the first, like I was on the first drop, I think 2 years ago, or maybe almost 3 now.
The night comp.
Where well, I was on like 2 of them.
Okay.
But that was all like, I've had Excision's email for a couple years prior to that and was kind of just waiting for the right time. And it was a well-timed email. And I think I got a response from like a couple demos I sent to him. Like a week later, he was like, what'd he say? He was like, yo, he's like, I love the track. He goes, I would love to sign these to a project I'm working on. He goes, let me know if you're interested, with a winky face or something. I'm like,
oh,
it was like midnight in Philly. And I'm like, with my friends watching a movie, or like, I don't know, drinking wine or something. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. Excision emailed me. Holy crap. Oh my God.
Excision dropped a winky.
I would have been shaking.
I know. Just super casual for him. You know, it's
Yeah.
like when it's like, it's Excision. Like
Yeah.
that was like the second. He's one of like the first artists I was ever listening to. And I think I saw him in 2011 in Pittsburgh, and he was opening up for Mastercraft, if you guys remember them. And he was on a fold out table with like you could see his feet. There was like the production behind him was an LED wall that was just dots. So it was no pictures or anything. I mean, this is a while back, but it was like, so, and like, I think I referenced that like in the first email I sent to him, but yeah, so that has been huge for my career. It's really put me out there. And I've, even this year coming back to Lost Lands, I really felt the love all around the festival. I was getting stopped all the time from people I had no idea who they were. And I think those are moments where you're like, okay, like something's happening and something's like clicking and working here. When people are really, they know you, they recognize your face, your music, they're psyched to come talk to you. So that's my Subsidia spiel. But so since then, I guess that was September. I guess I've kind of slowed down in terms of shows after that. I just played with Getter in Philly.
I was gonna ask, are you
October.
wearing a Getter shirt?
This is not a Getter shirt. This is I have to shout out this kid. I don't know his name, but he's called Dr. Dies on Instagram.
Cool.
And he gets like the most amazing like thrifted shirts of anything from old cartoons to brands and video games and stuff. And he does awesome tie-dyes on them. They're like washout tie-dyes. I just got my sister. So I am obsessed with Avatar: The Last Airbender and like everything in that universe. It's like my favorite. I've seen it a million times, but
I've never seen it.
I just got her. Oh my gosh, you have to watch it. It's so wholesome, and like there's a lot of life lessons in there. It's really good.
Okay.
Like I'll show my kids that if I ever have kids someday. Is how I feel about it. But just got my sister some awesome Avatar hoodie from him for her birthday, so have to shout him out.
That's so
but
So they're all custom pieces?
yeah, so I think he goes in thrift shirts, and then he does his like, it's not like a traditional tie-dye, it's like more like, you can see it's like I think they're called like more of a like a bleached, it's some sort of wash, I think they call it, or something like that. But so no, not a Getter shirt.
Okay.
I do have a Getter shirt.
Because we were talking about Excision, so I was like, are you rocking Getter right now? Like, what's the
Yeah,
deal?
you know what? I'm not gonna play into the to the whole beef, but I actually, so I kind of know him. Basically, I went to high school with Nick Coletti here in Pittsburgh,
What?
and
That's big.
so then his
Kind of a big deal.
his one best friend in high school, I was really good friends with his older brother, but then his best friend came to Temple, and we were friends the whole time. And so around like the Dude era, every time they would Getter was in Philly, we would all hang out, go to dinner, go to the show, like all of that stuff. So I like talked to him briefly after the show, and I was like, hey, like, I don't know if you remember me. I'm like Nick and Eli's friend. He was like, oh yeah. He's like, were you just playing? I was like, yeah. And it was kind of like ended after that. But yeah, I was like, oh,
You're like, "Hi."
Fangirling.
Yeah, I definitely get nervous in those situations. I don't know
Mhm.
why, but just if I don't have I have a rapport with him, but it's been a while.
Yeah. No,
But
you're
definitely
always gonna
like,
get nervous when someone that big is around you. Like
and
I was super
I'm that
nervous.
type of person too. I'm just like, "Ugh," like my one
Yeah.
tour manager is always like, "Why are you so nervous? Like, stop it!" Like, it's like, you're fine.
Well, it's like I don't want to come off as like I'm a fan though, because I'm actually a colleague, you know?
Absolutely. And there's like a
Yeah.
fine. I mean, and I think for us, we're clearly not going to act. We know how to not act the fan way, but you never know how it's going to be recepted on the other
Mhm.
end and what kind of day they had, where they're at, who they are. So, it's always like treading the line and seeing what's going on there.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
had the opportunity to say hi to John Summit multiple
Oh
times.
my
And I
gosh.
wimped out on that because I was like, he's being surrounded by so many people and like I
He's
don't
a
want to
big
just
deal.
I don't want
He
to
was
scream in his
literally-
ear.
Yeah, like at the Lost Lands main stage, he was literally standing right next to us in that middle section in the divider
Yeah.
where like the all access
Yeah.
area is. Like he was
Yeah.
literally standing right next to us multiple times, and there's people on the rail, like in the crowd, calling him over for selfies. And like
Right.
there were moments where I was just like, I want to say hi to him. I want to say hi to him.
Ugh.
Like, you probably could have, but like, that's exactly what I would have done. I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if you're meant to, it's gonna happen at some
Yeah.
point, whether it's this festival, the next festival, or whatever. And that's kind of my outlook on it.
Yeah.
Especially with like a John Summit who is,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
super
was-
hot right
or,
now.
or even like, for instance, like with Welcome Records, like there's big artists that we sign and they know what Welcome Records is, but they
Yeah.
don't, they most likely don't know the team that's behind it. So it's
Yeah.
always weird when you like see them and like I never really know how to introduce myself because I'm like, hey, like I'm one of the girls that helped with your track rollout. Like, hi.
I think that's fine though. I feel like,
I
well,
don't
at least
know.
I would be absolutely receptive to that. Once again, like I was saying, it's like, you never know what you would
Yeah.
hope someone who you've worked with like that, with label releases, everything like that, would be
Yeah.
chill, or at least have that conversation, but
Yeah, I just always feel
everyone's
like
different.
awkward. I just feel like I'm bothering them. That's always
Yeah.
I always feel that I'm bothering them or like I'm
Yeah.
interrupting them. I don't know why.
It's okay though. And I think it's a good lens to have, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're all human, and if they're not going to be down to talk to you, like when you're like working with them, or
Yeah.
like they might like the interaction is where it's like, whatever,
Yeah.
kind of move forward from there. It's just kind of part of it, I think.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But so, yeah, I guess so. The music kind of after Lost Lands, I'll take you back to before Lost Lands, because I've had like a really busy summer, I would say,
Mhm.
more than like it's kind of died down a little after that. And I've had a few releases and stuff like that. But basically, I think I did about 8 dates in a row this summer. We did, well, I was supposed to do Philly twice this summer. Philly to start that run of shows, and then I got COVID. So then it went, I did Boston, Tampa, Vegas, Charlotte, a festival in Maine, then Elements Festival, and then I was supposed to play with Getter in Philly that weekend of Elements. So I played Elements on Friday and then was going to play Philly on Saturday. And I think it was his something was going on medical wise. I forget what, but that got canceled again or postponed to October to when it did happen. And then in September I played in Delaware, we played Lost Lands, and I played somewhere else. It's escaping my mind. So July through September was a lot. And it was, basically I just have a manager, and then one of my best friends is my tour manager. My manager is Josh Unlocked, Josh
Mhm.
Rosina. If you guys are familiar with Unlocked Presents, it's
Yep.
like Eric Quadrado, Dimitri. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but it's like Lazarus or something like that. He's gonna kill me.
Are they a Pennsylvania based or what?
They are Philly.
Philly. Okay.
So, but yeah, what I was gonna say is just basically we put all that together from promoters I know, and both of them know. So it was like, I was really happy with everything that happened on those shows. Some of them were small, Some of them were really big. Like I played at the Ritz in Tampa, which that was the
Ooh.
biggest one of the summer. It was huge and was just, I mean, Tampa goes so hard. And that venue, the Ritz is
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's a sick
amazing.
venue.
So yeah, so since then, what do we do? So I just dropped my collab with St. Miller on Subsidia. It was like 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of St. Miller.
I hadn't until you dropped that collab.
Yeah, so he lives in South Korea, I believe. So he
Oh,
is,
wow.
yeah, so he's out there. He's been in the States a little this summer. I know he's about to be in Nashville to play on a sudden death show in like a week, I believe. But check his stuff out. He's collabing with everyone. We have another collab we're working on right now. And yeah, just super fire artist. So we dropped that. Basically next week I'm dropping new merch. And I just found out I have another label release at the end of next week. It's a
Ooh, you
big
just
collab
found
of
out about a
mine.
label release.
Like on Saturday I found out. I don't know. I didn't ask if I was allowed to say anything, so I don't necessarily want to say anything, but it's on a good friend of mine's EP and it's on a label that we all know and love, a newer label.
Oh.
So I will leave it
Ooh.
at that.
Gonna
But
have to investigate.
Well, by the time that this drops, it'll probably be out by then, and your merch will already be out.
it will. So yeah, but dropping new merch. I have that collab or a collab coming out next week. So that'll be the last release for the year. I am going to be playing a hijinks after party in Philly.
Ooh.
At the Av, which is Unlock Presents their venue.
Yeah,
which
Josh is killing it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I always watch
They
his stories
are-
and like that's
Josh he's a jack of all trades right now. So they have the Av,
and then
him
he's got
and
like that
his
Ivy
he's the Ivy Lounge, so him
Yeah.
and his girlfriend
Ooh.
run that.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but he's opening up another venue
I
that's
did see that.
it's
Yeah.
not going to be
Wow.
what we do, but just I think more of a upscale like club type bottle service club
Cool.
place. So yeah, they are absolutely killing it. So I think we were about to say this earlier, but so they're Philly.
Okay.
I've known them all for a long time, and they all used to have their own promotion companies. And then Eric and Josh combined to be one. And they used to do shows at this place called District 9 in Philly that's closed down now. I actually played the last show there with Subdocta and Riot 10. That was at like 2017 or something. But then Dimitri was Catharsis Collective, which he used to throw his shows in the Av, but it was called Soundgarden Hall. And so when I first came to Philly, I was one of the ravers in the back going crazy. And it's just this like really, how do I put it? Like the venue is really unique. It's almost like this just big dark rave dungeon. In a sense, that might not be the best way to put it. I had a rave cave in college.
Oh, like in your basement?
So that's where
where
it all started. I started DJing house parties at Temple. And the one house I lived in, it had this like cement basement that had like 10-foot ceilings, I don't know. Basically, I don't even think it needed to be there. There was like a heater or something in there, but we built this like DJ booth bar, and you could cram like 100 people in there.
Whoa.
Damn.
And we would DJ every Friday. So that's like where it kind of all started. And I kind of started making music like a year later after that. But the Av, formerly Soundgarden, it's just got these really big pillars that line the venue, and you can get about like 3-4 people standing on them.
I see people standing on it, yeah, like.
And I've
just
actually
raging.
seen a really cool use of pashmina. I don't think anyone's tried to do this before. Maybe at like with a tree or something at a festival, but people like wrap it around and like hold themselves on it so they can kind of like do whatever. But
what? No
That's
way.
risky.
right?
Wouldn't it rip?
Yeah. I'd be
Well,
scared
I
to
guess
rip
that depends on the quality of the pashmina. that you're
Yeah,
buying.
which
So
artist has
If it's
the
a
best
Louis
one?
Vuitton, then that probably won't rip.
right. So tip, if you're making a pashmina, you better make it
Italian
good quality.
silk.
Exactly. The highest quality it can be. But Philly is just amazing. The scene is thriving there. Unlocked is definitely running the scene there.
Mhm.
You have like promoters like Steve's Promo, if you're familiar.
Totally.
They're
Oh
also
yes.
do similar shows, but Unlocked is your like, well, I don't know if I would I think of Unlocked as like independent or like their
Mhm.
own thing, where I kind of
Yeah.
look at Steve's as a little more of like, I don't
Regional.
know. Yeah, and I don't know if they're like a corporation or but I
I
don't know
don't
if
know
you get in the
anything
nitty gritty
about
of
Steve's.
that. They're definitely like the DMV, like Maryland, DC, like all of those places, Baltimore, the Virginia, like all of those markets, and definitely some other places too. But that's kind of their scene.
Mhm.
But if Unlocked wasn't doing this, there really wouldn't. I mean, maybe someone else would take their place, but they have all
Mhm.
just built their own followings and built their own scene and have brought it all together. And then,
Mhm.
let alone, they all just like, Dimitri was like one of Subtronic's first managers. He used to
Oh wow.
manage Bandles. He used to manage Computer. Like,
Wow.
it's Josh has managed a few people, and like he's just with me now. But so it's just like they all have a lot of ties in the industry, which has helped me
Mhm.
progress with different opportunities on the back end, and just things where I wouldn't have that connection. So while I don't necessarily have an agent or anything yet, I think I'm in a really good spot and feel really good with Josh. And then Dimitri and Eric help out where
Mhm.
they can and when they can, which is just so appreciated by me, because they don't have to do those, but they believe in the
Yeah.
project. So yeah, shout out Unlocked
Yeah.
Presents. They're amazing and running the Philly scene, and they've allowed me to build myself up in Philly and get the direct support slots I need, and to really just show my stuff and
Mhm.
build in a city, which it was like, I don't think I could have done what I've got to where I've gotten so far in this timeline if I would have stayed in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
The scene is definitely here. There is one. It's a little smaller. Ivan from Rush Promo is definitely bringing things back right now. So I just want to shout out him. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely a
Rush
smaller
promo.
scene, and there's just not as much opportunity here. Where Philly, there's all kinds of levels of. There's like 3 or 4 promoters in what we do, from that are doing like 50 to 100 person shows, to like the Av is like 1,500 or like 1,800 at different points. So yeah,
There's
Philly
a lot going
was.
on.
There's a lot going on. So
Damn.
that's another thing of like, I don't know if I need to move to LA or Denver. Denver's kind of more my thought versus
Mhm.
LA at this point if I did something, but all my friends are in Philly now, or have been, and all my family's in Pittsburgh, and so it's about like a 5.5 hour drive that I'm like,
Wow, that's
I'm
far though.
yeah,
That's
but I'm so used to it now. Like,
okay.
it's kind of just like everyone says that, and I'm like, well, it's
Man,
okay.
5.5 hours. We get to Utah if we started driving 5.5 hours.
Literally, you can
There you
drive all the way
go.
across to
Um,
Utah within like 4 hours, 4.5.
oh yeah, so that's, and anything like under 5 now, I'm like, oh, that's cake. Like,
Oh my
whatever,
gosh, yeah.
You can get to
Your tolerance.
Telluride in 5.5 hours. Telluride is like the most
Ooh.
beautiful part of Colorado. Literally, it's like the
Yeah, I've
Switzerland
never.
of Colorado.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
familiar. I've never been there, but so I'm a snowboarder. I was
Okay.
a skater, snowboarder my whole life. Definitely kind of fell off skating in college when music started taking over. But I did get to skate Love Park a bunch before it was torn down in Philly. I have a couple clips there from back in the day. I couldn't tell you where the clips are, but they exist.
It
But
happened.
definitely a skater kid. And I don't really snowboard as much anymore, but I'm definitely gonna get out there this season. It's
Yeah,
expensive. It's like
no
a
shit.
$100. The mountain here in Pittsburgh is like $100 for a day pass if
Oh
you don't
my
have like a
God.
Bro, it's like
season pass or something like
$200.
that.
In Colorado, it's like $200 for one day. Literally.
So our mountain here, it's called Seven Springs. It just got bought by Epic, so it's in the Epic Pass. And
Oh shit.
my best friend here was like, "You should buy it," and I was like, "I know I should, but I don't have money."
Yeah.
So I'll go a couple times this year, and that'll be good for me.
If you have gear, it's different. Like I don't even have
Yeah.
gear. I know how to ski, but I
That
don't
makes
have
it a
gear.
lot tougher. So I
So,
have had all my gear since. So I did a year of community college in Pittsburgh, and so that whole year I had a season pass, and I would go to the mountain 3 times a week. I would work in a restaurant 4 times a week, and I would go to community college like 3 to 4 times a week. And some of those were like night classes, but the one was like a night class, and I would ski in the morning. So I was like, I was booked.
you're on it on that routine.
It was nice. That's kind of like we were talking about at the beginning. I'm trying to like, it's tough when you have a little more time to like stay disciplined. Where I'm like, you got to do stuff. You know, don't.
Yeah.
You know, this is like not. You don't really ever get a time like this where, you know, you don't have to worry about the bills for a little bit, and you can focus on what you want, and you know, so it can be tough.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same boat as you actually, because unfortunately I experienced a layoff. So I got laid off from the job that I was
sorry to
working
hear
at, the
that.
startup. It's fine. I mean, it was obviously really tough at first when it happened, and I felt like heartbroken because I had been with them for 2 years, and it's a startup, so it's a very small company, and we're all very close. So it felt really, really tough at first, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to moan about it. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to get my ass in gear, build up DUBSTEP FBI, work in Welcome Records, and like work on our consulting firms, and like find ways to build myself up as well in terms of like personal development. So I started exercising a lot more. So like making that a habit, making a habit to get out of bed at least by 8, no later than 8. So but there's been some days where I'm like, you know what, when am I ever going to sleep in? So, you know, I had some days where I've slept in pretty late, you know, and enjoyed my evenings. And so, but yeah,
this might be like what you needed though.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
to like, because
The
I was
blessing in
working
disguise.
Yeah.
It is. I think it might be. I was working for 2 years at a startup marketing agency in Philly, and it was like I'm wearing the hats of like 3 people. I'm, you know, just doing so much. And I was there for 2 years while doing all of this, and I got burnt out, and I left with like no plan, and I ended up being able to do freelancing, which was nice, but it ultimately was a huge push forward for me and my project, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I can do the marketing stuff. I enjoy it, but like this is my passion. I'm here and I'm trying to make this happen with every fiber of my being. So, and it's tough. Like I love the people I worked with. It was an amazing experience. I wouldn't trade for the world. But just like what you guys, you have your own things going on, and those, as a business owner, those take a lot of time invested to make it happen. And and you never know when it's going to happen. But I think those times where like you ultimately take that leap or it just happens, like, you know, you got let go or whatever happened, it pushes you into this next phase of like, okay, I have my own businesses. I'm going to do this. So you got this. Don't you know?
Thank you. Yeah.
And it sounds like you're on your routine. So it's like, I'd say just keep doing that. And I don't know, it just made me think like, I feel like when I talk to a lot of younger artists right now, I don't know, like I've been doing this for almost 10 years, like music in general.
Wow.
I've been Brainrack for like 7 years now. I don't know. I think a lot of people understand the time it takes to, like, some people are going to blow up in 2 years or 3 years or whatever. There's you always see it happen. I see someone coming out of Philly almost every year, whether it's our scene, rap or something or whatever. Everyone has a different timeline, but usually things take like 10 years, something like that, to build a business. So it's, you know, of the grinding, you know, so it's, and I think a lot of people don't, everyone has it in them, but I think people don't realize it and like aren't ready. And like, I don't know. So this is kind of like my reflection where I try to like, I teach some kids like lessons on Zoom and stuff like that. So I try to kind of instill some of this stuff and just kind of like be there for them past producing and making
mentorship,
weird noises. It's like, hey, this is what I've been through. And like, you know, like they'll say what they've been through, or like, hey, I was at the show and I talked to this artist and I kind of had a like we were talking before, like some interactions with those artists aren't good. And so I was talking to my one student last week about it, and I was like, I was like the same thing I said, maybe he had a bad day, long flight, whatever it was. So, it can be tough.
Gotta let it roll
Yeah.
off.
Gotta let it roll off. But you're
Yeah.
where you need to be. I believe it. I think we all are.
Exactly. Everything happens for a reason. And so
It does.
I was like, you know what? This is what was meant to happen. And that's
Mhm.
totally okay. It was very
Absolutely.
tough at first. Cause I woke up and I was like I was dreaming about the Slack notifications and about like
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God,
the
you're like,
Gmail
Slack.
notifications. And then I was like, that's so weird that I don't have Slack anymore. Cause I would normally wake up to like 10
Oh.
Slack
Oh, yeah.
messages or
I-
like it would
I
just-
was on there
or
too.
every
Yeah.
morning, even if I didn't get any messages, Slack would always send me like 3 notifications being like, here are your Salesforce tasks, here are your demos for today. Like it would send me like all my
Yep.
tasks and all my to-dos for that day.
Woo! It's
So
a
I was
lot.
like literally like dreaming about it. And then I was like thinking it in my
Right?
head, like literally I would like panic. I'll be like, wait,
You're like, where?
I'm like, oh shit, I don't
See,
I don't
that's
have
the
a job
tough
anymore.
part. And that's kind of things that I was feeling at the marketing agency. It was like there was not a lot of separation between work and home. And it was just what it was as a startup. It wasn't like, oh, my boss is terrible or this or that. It was just like we were trying to maintain business and grow, and it was leading right into the pandemic, and we were about to hire a few new people right before the pandemic. And it was like, I remember going to my boss's
Exciting.
office, and our mayor had a meeting, and the next day we were remote. And then I was working even more for the
Mhm.
next like 2-3 months before I left. So but I think those experiences, like I'm happy that I'm hoping music works out and I don't have to go
Mhm.
back to something like that. I would, but that shaped me. And I'm happy to have those business backgrounds and be in those professional settings where I think, I don't know, I'll still see emails from certain people or artists or even people in the industry. And I'm like, man, you got to like structure your email a little better.
Dude.
Like this
Oh
is
my
not
God.
like
Tell me about it. I'm a grammar Nazi. I'm like a huge writer. So I
Grammarly changed my life.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, my
Uh,
biggest thing that took me to get used to in the industry was the emails. Cause like
Yeah.
I'm very professional. I'm like,
Mhm.
hi, name here. Hope you're doing well. This is what I need from you. This is the date. Best regards. And I always like and people are just like, no, without a period or anything. Like they just like
Dude.
tomorrow, no period.
especially in welcome records, like it's very laid back and very chill. And Chrissy's always like, best regards. And I'm just always like, and like I don't even like capitalize like the first letter sometimes.
The first thing that like kind of opened my eyes to proper grammar and emailing, I applied for this internship, I think for this company called CID. They do a lot of
Mhm.
big festivals, like, I don't know, I don't know. They do a bunch of stuff like hospitality, things like that, or, probably do a bunch of other stuff. But my friend worked there and he was like, oh, here, email them. And there was like an opening for an internship, and I sent an email, and they emailed me back and they were like, listen, like, if your initial email to us was just riddled with grammar errors, they like XYZ, they were like, they were like, I was like, oh my God, I was like,
Whoa.
I was like, how could I ever do that? You know what I mean? But sometimes you have to have something like that happen to be like, okay, I'm going to
Mhm.
get Grammarly.
Yeah.
I don't think Grammarly was a thing. I don't think Grammarly was a thing at that point, but that
That's
stuff like that'll
hilarious.
make you think. Like I'll read my email
Mhm.
5 times before I send it, and probably another time
Yeah.
before I send it moving forward. So
Totally.
I'm a big proper email guy. So I'm happy
Yeah.
you guys are on the same page.
So
You know what? Grammarly has done me wrong, okay? And Chrissy has pointed
Really?
out some of those errors, literally, because she'll be like, hey, you're supposed
Wow.
to write it this way. And then I was like, Grammarly suggested this way.
No,
Okay,
it'll do- it'll
so
do
we're
dirty.
done with Grammarly.
It's done her
That's what we're
dirty.
saying?
And like I'm always like this. I like go nuts with the grammar, but
And I
there's
tell her
people-
too as well. I'm like, Chrissy, please call me out. Like if something is done incorrectly. And she's like,
Well,
by
it's
the
gonna
way,
help
it's this
you.
way.
It's gonna help
Yeah.
you. You know what
And
I
I'm-
mean?
And then I'm over here like, what the fuck, Grammarly?
Right? It's
only
supposed to
know-
be Perfect.
I know this because I have a journalism degree, and my news writing professor basically made us memorize the entire AP style guide, which is basically a dictionary on how to write in a certain style with like commas and like capitalization and all of that.
Yeah.
But like my biggest pet peeve lately is when when you're talking about someone, when you're like people use the word that instead of who interchangeably, and you can't do
Okay.
that. When you're referencing a
Okay.
human, you have to say who, not that.
Yeah.
Like use who when you're describing people, not that.
I'm gonna remember that, and I won't make that mistake.
It's a big mistake.
But you
Everyone's
have to be
making it.
perfect. You can't make mistakes with your background
I
and
can't.
education.
Well, I literally can't. Not well. I also
You're like,
work
my
in
brain
higher
won't
ed.
it won't actually let me make a mistake.
I
It
mean-
literally won't.
I mean, damn. Yeah,
my
there no
gosh.
one. Yeah, in this industry. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Get your emails right, people.
Yeah.
Especially if you're
That's to
emailing
the
Chrissy.
audience.
Get your emails right.
Yes. Let it be known.
I will judge you silently.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Oh,
Well, we got a couple of submitted questions here that I'm
Let's
actually
do it.
curious about. So Veros Dubs, he's asking, what's your favorite moment of 2022?
wow. That's tough. So I guess I'll just keep it music. I'm like, I don't know if this is corny, but I got to meet Excision finally.
Love
I don't know,
that.
like it was
Oh,
like maybe there's been
Lost
some
Lands?
other moments, but like off the top of my head, like I was so nervous.
Oh my God.
But Mary of Subsidia,
Mhm.
she coordinated a big label meetup. Were you guys over
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
We
So
Yeah.
we were with some friends and we heard about it
Yeah.
happening because it was
Mhm.
happening
Yeah.
during our meetup, right, Chrissy?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I
Yeah,
know.
like,
They
of
announced it
course.
the morning of. They were like, meetup
That's
for
the-
everyone in Subsidia, same time as DUBSTEP FBI.
You're like, great.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
were
hard
like-
thing with the meetups there. You got to kind of watch what everyone's doing to make
Mhm.
sure, I don't know. It's tough. But that was just so cool for me. I mean, like I said, like I'd always listened to his music, like I know a lot of people have, but it was just
Mhm.
the evolution from listening to him from 2011 on and just like seeing his growth to then I truly believe this is like a pivotal point of my career with the Subsidia stuff and
Mhm.
Lost Lands and all the releases. It's has just been massive for me, and I would still be here, but I don't think there'd be as much noise or hype. And so, while I said there's might be some other moments in 2022 that were great, that's definitely one that stands out. So I like walked up to him. And I was like, because the first Lost Lands, he was right near me. It was like 3 p.m. on Sunday. I'm like, this is the perfect time. He was
Mhm.
with well, are they married? Is that his girlfriend? Or I think it's his
Emma?
wife, right?
Emma?
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're
Um,
married.
I don't even
So
think they're engaged.
they were together, and there was a few other people, and I was with my manager. I was like my whole team, and I was like, okay. I was like, he's right there. I was like, I'm gonna go say something. And my manager Josh was like, he's like, no, he's like with his family, like just kind of, maybe wait. And I was like, oh.
Play it
And then I
cool.
saw someone else I know walked over at the exact same time
Of
and had this
course.
whole moment, and I'm like, that was my moment.
Like that could have been me.
So this time, and it was whatever. So this time, it's just like if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. That's kind of
Yeah.
like my thing. But this time, I was like, I'm here. The whole label is here. Like I'm saying what's up. So he had played one of my new songs on main stage the night
Oh,
before,
shit.
and that I hadn't heard him play anything in person ever, and I was like shaking. My legs are like all wobbly.
You're
I'm like singing it and like filming
You're like,
it. I'm
"That's my
like,
song!"
I'm like, this is crazy. So I was like, yo, Jeff. I was like, it's Alex, Brainrack. He's like, yo, what's up? I was like, thanks for playing my song. I was like, thanks for everything. And I was like, it means the world. And I was like, thanks for playing my song last night. And he was like, oh yeah, it's super dope. And it was like, that was it. And we just like took a picture.
I love that.
I was so nervous, and everyone has told me like like they're he's super chill. Like he's super like, you don't need to be extra with him, and he gets it. You know,
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's doing for us and all the artists and just everyone involved. So, but that, you know, was a huge moment. So,
Yeah. That's
definitely one
awesome.
of my best moments of 2022.
That is so funny. Being nervous to meet Excision, but like in real life, he like wears a little flat brim hat and he has
He's
like
so
his
chill.
shorts and like his tall socks, and he's like
He's so chill.
He's like the rave dad.
He walked
Yeah.
into because Mary had us all go in a circle and like say our artist name and our real name, and then Jeff showed up after, and everyone was like real quiet for a second. He just goes, he's like, "Hi, my name's Jeff," and everyone started like laughing. We're like,
they're
"Oh
like,
my
we
God.
know.
We know." I also, when we took that photo, Sullivan King was in it, and I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I don't know. Maybe he's heard some of my music. I have no idea, but it was like the countdown to the photo or something, and I did a scream, like not like even thinking about him, but I was like, "Let's go," something like that. And he turns around, he's like, "Hey, that's my job," and he smiled at me. He was definitely like kidding, but I was like, "Oh my God."
Like, oh,
You're like,
shit.
I'm sorry.
You
You can have the screaming. You know, you take it.
Yeah, it's yours, dude. You claimed it a while ago.
I have been doing some screamo vocals though, so
Oh wow.
you may see that in the future.
Cool.
Actually, someone that you might know, Josh Unlocked, he's actually curious, why do you scream?
So it's kind of an impulse, I would say. I've always been extremely loud. I think I was a bit misunderstood in high school. I think
Weren't we all?
one of the first renditions of me just screaming and being loud like this, at the lunch table in high school, I mean, maybe this is once a week or a couple times a month, I would slam my hands on the table and do like the SpongeBob chocolate thing, like the scream, and I was going just like so loud, like it's, you know, maybe that some people are laughing, but everyone just goes silent. And so like, yeah, you know, I got in trouble for being loud here and there in high school. So while I think I was a bit misunderstood then, I think it's kind of playing to my favor now.
Playing
but
in your favor, yeah.
I also feel now like it's definitely like impulse, and it's just kind of like part of me now, but I have to try sometimes. Like I'm not trying, but I feel like I also am like, okay, I'm kind of expected to be a little loud or crazy. So, you know, I want to be honest with everyone. I don't always feel like it. So just funny. I've never met Cleopatra, but we followed each other on Twitter, and she said something today about like a baby crying on a plane or screaming on a plane or something like that. And I was like, oh, wait till you're like with me or something. And she was like, oh, I don't, because we never met. She's like, oh, I couldn't picture you screaming. And I was like,
oh, sis,
you don't know me, do you?
Yeah. Will there be screams?
I never heard you scream in Denver.
You didn't hear me scream? Or you did?
I did. No. Did you, Chrissy?
I didn't hear you scream in Denver.
So
you were
sometimes
you were loud, but you didn't scream.
I don't know if I was on the mic as much because it was like a smaller show. And I do try to do everything I do, from the energy to the whole stage, just everything. I do it. It's like I try to keep instilled like you're gonna play the same way you play for 10 people as you do for thousands. And I've done it, and I've had the feedback from people that are like, oh my God, you were like, it was only 20 of us, but you were so crazy. It was amazing. So it's like, I definitely kind of accept it's like part of it now for me. And, you know, so yeah, Denver, you know, I might have been smoking a little too much weed. Maybe that was a little part of it.
I mean, you were with Blazy Susan, Mr. Blazy Susan.
Blazy Susan, the wonderful
Mr.
people
Afterthought.
over there, Mr. Ryan Afterthought. And so that's been cool in Pittsburgh now because I hang out with Ryan all the time. I go to his studio. We've got we got a bunch of collabs. We have like 3 right now. One is supposed to be on a label next year. There's no confirmation, so I can't say anything about it, but keep your fingers crossed for me.
Got you.
Fingers and
But
toes.
I've never heard that.
Everything's
That's
crossed.
that's gotta be like my arms.
Cross her up.
So
Double
at
cross.
at that Denver show, this has never happened. Well, I've kind of hurt myself playing before, but all of a sudden in the middle of my set, I felt my neck pop or something.
Ooh.
And for the rest of the show that night and for like a week, I had to like physically hold my head up. Like, I don't think I made it apparent while I was playing, but after the show, I was like, they wanted to go out somewhere. I was like, I got to go to the hotel. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, my head is like, I got to keep it up. So I'm okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm okay now. I'm okay
Mhm.
now, but I have
You
to
fucked
watch
up.
myself. I go crazy up there.
You fucked up and didn't wear a neck brace.
Yeah, what the hell?
Maybe I'll have to.
We need Subsidia branded neck braces.
DUBSTEP FBI.
How haven't they done that yet?
Dude, I think I made a meme once where I like photoshopped the FBI logo on a neck brace or something. I need to resurface that.
Oh yeah.
This but I'd be shocked if it hasn't even come up as like a joke with the Subsidia team. I hope they've discussed it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're talking about way bigger things like maybe colonizing a planet or something.
You know what? I would love to go to Subsidia someday.
I want to go too.
It
I'm gonna
looks
buy a
so
first class
cool.
ticket.
No,
It's like-
we'll take the FBI jet.
Mhm.
Yo,
Yeah.
sign me up.
You got a seat on there, dude.
Mhm.
Thank you
Let's
for arresting me and detaining me. Hopefully I'm not detained forever. I gotta make music at some point.
Your seat on the FBI jet is actually the toilet seat. So
Oh, well, you know
It's
what?
something,
I
you
think there's
know?
plenty of people that would be happy to be there, so I'll take it.
perfect. We'll reserve it for you.
Let's just not make it like so publicly known that the toilet seat is mine.
Right?
I mean,
But
this
do
is
with it
gonna
what
go
you
out,
will.
so
We're
people
writing
are
an
bound
article
to-
on this.
Cut that.
If people are still listening right now, then they're bound to know.
They're bound to
Yeah.
know. Well, it's okay. I don't know if that's probably not gonna like ruin my career.
It,
You know,
it
so-
won't ruin your reputation, that's for sure.
We'll make sure it doesn't. At least you're gonna be in the jet, okay?
In
That's
the
what I
jet,
mean.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
a ton of people who are like, I wish I was on there, and I'm just in the bathroom. I'm like,
Right?
yeah, let's
It's like our
go.
entire street team of
I
20
got the
people and then
Wi-Fi.
you.
And like taking a selfie from the toilet.
Yeah. FBI air. That's what we're calling it.
Love it. Love
That's
it.
funny. Well, we have just 5 more questions and they're in the lightning round. So you got to answer them
Let's do it.
quickly.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to start this one off. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Good choice. Good answer.
Ableton or FL?
Ableton. But I don't
Okay.
discriminate. Like it's they're all the same. They're not all
Yeah.
the same, but you can do the same things. I'll leave it
Fair.
there.
Base Canyon or Lost Lands?
I've only been to Lost Lands. And they just do it's so right. I've been to so many festivals over the years, and it's just done
Mhm.
very properly.
Yeah. Lost Lands this year was so much fun. Like,
Amazing.
yeah, everything was just incredible. I love how they did the Raptor stage too.
Yes, me too. I
Mhm.
loved how they blew out the woods and stuff, and
So cool.
I feel like they're gonna keep hopefully doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure they got something in store. That and neck braces.
Yeah.
So Excision, if you're listening, we need neck braces.
The people want them.
Listen to us.
Who are your producer best friends?
Here we go. Shizlo, Afterthought, Focus, Computer. Crap. I don't want to forget. Those are like my main. Oh God, someone's gonna be mad at me. I'll say MRSA, like MURSA. Isaac.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you like 1 or 2 more. Who is it? I don't know. Someone's gonna hurt me though, but I think that was pretty good. That was
Mhm.
Redline District.
Okay,
Red Line
yeah.
District.
Oh yeah, Red Line District.
There it is.
Okay. Well, that leads perfectly into our last question, which is fuck, marry, kill.
Ah! Okay,
Shizlo, afterthought, or focus?
I'm gonna
Someone-
marry Shizlo because I think he's got his shit together.
He's
very
husband
res-
material.
He's,
Yeah.
he's husband material. Exactly. This is tough. It's fuck and kill, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Got to do the thing with someone.
No! Um, I
Someone's
am
gonna get
going
hurt.
to. This is so weird. I will. Ryan, after that, I'm gonna fuck you.
Oh, word.
Wow.
Tyler, I don't really have any reasons for this. I'm like I'm getting nervous here. Tyler, you're dead, but I love you.
Big
It's
bummer.
R.I.P.
Game over.
but I love you all. It's a hard game. I don't know.
It is. We actually, Yessie wrote those down before we even knew who your best friends were.
Wow.
Literally, and you wrote
So that
them
was
in the
pretty
exact
good.
same.
In the exact.
I did do it in the same order. And I have them written down over here too in that order. I'm like,
That's why Chrissy and I were laughing so much after you said Shizlo, afterthought, and focus, because I literally wrote them down in that exact same order, and you named that as your producer best
my
friend.
God. It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
I was like,
Um,
yep, I got the right one.
I'm sorry, Tyler. I don't really want to kill you, but I had to say something. And
Mm-hmm. You
know.
can't exempt them from the answer. You can't pass on that
Afterthought,
one.
you better get those
Woo!
condoms
I kind of
ready.
knew that was coming, and I forgot about it.
Yeah, we always get everyone with that one. It's usually the last question.
Oh
Gotta
my
put them in the
gosh.
spot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we
Yeah.
do
You got to.
best, especially if you're under investigation by the FBI. So, yeah.
I hope I didn't snitch too much.
Oh, we're leaking everything. You're gonna get canceled.
No.
Yeah,
Not
ADM
again.
Twitter's gonna come after you.
Okay, I'm gonna just
It
gonna take
hasn't-
some deep breaths.
It
I have a
hasn't
few
died
weeks.
yet, so
I have a few
Mhm.
weeks.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Well,
Oh,
before we let
man.
you go, do you have any final words or thoughts you'd like to say?
So I'm making Brainrack basketball jerseys. Those
Oh,
will be
word.
out next year, probably like February.
Oh shit.
Ton of music. I have collabs going on with Veros, Alley Cat,
Mhm.
who like I did Eyes Closed with, Vale. We have a really dope
Ooh.
collab, and we're working on a VIP for it right now. Eater, I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
collab with, and I'm so stoked on it. I have been so stoked on his music for so long. He is such a talented producer, and everyone plays his music. So he lives in Italy, so I know it's like he's trying to get over here and break into the US market, but really stoked about that. I'm going to be dropping some remixes next year, starting with a remix I did for Recno in
Ooh.
December. And yeah, I'm just trying to play a ton of shows and release a bunch of music and keep going.
Yeah, good stuff, dude. You've come so far.
Thank you. And I appreciate you guys so much. Just it's been so nice to get to meet you guys. Really appreciate the coverage you've given me, bringing me on the podcast. It seriously means the world.
Totally.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. So glad that we finally got to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Shout out to your manager for making that one happen.
Thank you, Josh. And shout out Unlocked.
Yep.
Appreciate everything you guys
Yep.
do for me.